Hi, this is Dorothy with Dot Scrapbooking, and today I'm going to show you a real simple card making kit that is very inexpensive. The stamp is called Funny from the Funny Farm, and you can either get this stamp with the kit or you can just get the little kit by itself for $5. With the stamp, it's $20.95. But the stamp is adorable. It's absolutely adorable, and this is a great little project for everybody in the family. So everybody can work together with this, and it makes great cards that young and old alike will just think are so cute. You also get, if you buy this one with the stamp, you get a small stamp block to go with it to hold the stamps while you're inking them up. So you also get colored envelopes. Now I have to tell you, in our value pack of cards and envelopes, everything is white. And so this is the color envelopes, which I just absolutely love. The only other time that I see them is in our subscription for card making. And then you get color envelopes that match the cards. So you get 3 pieces of cardstock, glacier, green apple, and pink. And our cardstock is 2-sided, so it's light on one side and darker on the other. So the dark color is the original color, and then the shade of light just gives you a little bit more flexibility. So you also get 10 pieces, you get 10 envelopes and 10 pieces of white cardstock that fold into 4 by 5¼ inch cards. So I am making strips from the cardstock that are 4 by 5¼ So no, a 4-inch strip and a 5¼ inch strip. So that way I can take the strips and turn them around and cut pieces that are 1¼ inches to go on the cards, just to add a little bit of color to the cards. So, pardon me. I flipped the pieces around and I'm cutting 1¼ Now, this is very simple if you have a paper trimmer. So it's a little bit more complicated if you're going to use a pencil and scissors, but you can totally do it that way if you want. So your dimensions would be a strip that's 4 inches wide, and then you cut pieces off that are 4 by 1¼ inches. So you could make them. You don't have to make them 1¼ You could make them a little bit less if you wanted to. So you'll see how it looks on the cards that I made. So I'm just cutting a bunch of strips so I can just grab while I'm making a card and put a little bit of color on that card. So I'm also cutting the 5¼ inch long strips down to 5¼ by 1¼ So here we're back to the 4 by 1¼ And depending on how many cards you want to make at a time, is how many pieces you want to cut off. You may want to just do a few cards at a time and save the rest for another time. So I'm just going ahead and cutting a bunch of pieces, thinking I'm going to make all of them. I want to make at least one of each of the animals. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm putting my paper trimmer away, or at least out of sight. And I have a bone folder here. Now I'm folding the card in half. I'm making sure the corners match up with the corners on the bottom. So the top's got to completely match the bottom, otherwise you've got a slightly lopsided card. And this thing is called a bone folder to give you a really hard crease. Now you could use anything, really, to get a hard edge. It doesn't have to be a bone folder. So you could use your finger, your fingernail, the side of a pen, whatever. But, the bone folder is nice. So I'm going to go ahead and make a 4¼ by no, 4 by 5 1/4 card with each of the 10 pieces of cardstock, white daisy cardstock that they give us in the little kit. So this is the first time I've seen them do a little tiny kit like this. And they kind of, in the on my website, dorothy.ctmh.com, it says kids, a craft for kids. But really you can, I personally like puns. So anytime I see a pun stamp, I have to get it. I just think they're funny, and it doesn't take much to amuse me. So I am just going to use a color from, I'm not going to use the same color on each card. I'm going to use 2 different colors. So I'm going to start off with the little sheep, the little U there. And the best thing to do would be to just, the little foam backing that comes with each of our stamps is there for a reason. Now I'm seasoning here. I'm just taking off the excess oils and little bitty pieces that would keep you from getting a really good stamped image. So this is my intense black, which means I can use watercolor on it and it won't run. So you want to season the stamp and get any of the excess off of the stamp, excess pieces, so you get a nice clear stamp. And with our clear blocks, you can see that the ink is all over the stamp. So that's the really good part about the clear blocks. And so, I kind of decide what to use. Yeah, this is my hard part, is making decisions. So I'm going to use pink, and I'm going to have the light side stick up. And the tape runner that I use is Tombow. You can, get it at any craft store. You can also get it online at my website. And I am going to use a marker. Now you can use, I'm using markers, and I have watercolor pencils. The watercolor pencils, you can either just use the pencil by itself, or you can use the pencil and then have a little blending tool, and it will kind of blend the pencil strokes so that they look like a solid, like they've been watercolored, so they're solid instead of strokes showing. So I'm using a little light gray. These are tri-blend markers. They're by Spectrum Noir. And I'm going to color the little flower yellow. And I'm kind of going to go, I'm trying to figure out a color to make the little sheep. She could stay white, but I want just a little bit of color to her to kind of stand out against the background. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually stamp these on a separate cardstock and cut them out, and then pop them up with foam dots if you wanted to make them make the little animals stand out from the background. I just went with simple, meaning I just put it directly on the card. So I'm just kind of thinking in terms of a nice little project and encouraging people in the family to, excuse me, write little notes to folks that they haven't seen in a long time, maybe because of COVID. They haven't gotten to see Grandma and Grandpa, or friends, or sisters and brothers. And so I just am really, really lightly going over my watercolor pencil. And you see, after I use the blending tool on it, it just makes the color fill in. So this is a little chamois that I keep in a craft box, and I keep it wet and wash it out after each project. You want to take the inks off of your stamp. So you want to, have a little. You can use baby wipes if you want to. I've got the chamois. And so this says thank you, EWE. So, like I said, I love little puns. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, and you'll see me do it on pretty much all of the cards, and you don't have to do this. This could be the card right here, and just go for it. But I was trying to see if I could color with the marker, and I decided I needed to go get some more ink. So I'm using color on color, tone on tone is what it's called. And you just want to make kind of a triangle when you're stamping multiple small stamps. So this is like little blades of grass, and I needed to go get my green apple. So I have my green apple, pixie, and then I'm going to have to go and get my glacier. Because I wasn't thinking initially of stamping on all of the cards. I was just going to make it super simple, but then, I can't help myself. So I'm using these cute little tufts of grass on the bottom part. I kind of purposely put the green at the bottom to be a meadow, because I can't help myself. And then they've got lots and lots of little bitty stamps here that you can add. And this one is completely adorable, and it's a little bitty snail. And he's got a little smile on his face, so I think he's just so cute. Thank you. So there's the first card. I mean, pretty fast. And I do have this speeded up a little bit to keep you from getting too bored. But, like I said, you can make it as complicated as you want to. You could put all sorts of backgrounds on it and, add a little wood background if you wanted to just kind of, give that barnyard look. But the next one is going to be a little pig. And the pig is adorable. They're all really, really cute little critters. And one of these sayings on the stamp is from our barn to yours. So you could actually, I didn't stamp anything on the inside because you could write a little note. But if you wanted to, you could put from our barn to yours on the inside. And it would work for all of them, just to have a little sentiment on the inside, if you wanted to. I mean, some people like the cards being totally blank on the inside so they could write whatever they want to. So here comes the pig with the little curly tail. And I'm making my pigs pink. My pig is going to be pink. Because why not? So when you use the markers, these tri-blend markers, what you want to do is start off with the lightest color. So you start off with light, and then you can add the dark on the edges to give kind of a shadowing. And then you can take the medium marker and kind of fill in where you want to. Yeah, there I changed to the dark side, going to the dark side. And it's just you kind of making an outline around it, just for a little shadowing, just to kind of make it stand out a little bit. And then I'm adding the medium color around. Medium color doesn't seem to be all that different from the dark, actually. So I'm going to color his little feet in gray. Add a little bit more to his eyes. Whoops, almost made a mistake. That's a black marker from Spectrum Noir, and I was thinking that it was a blending marker, and I almost went over that. So the black marker and the blending marker are actually shorter than the regular tri-blends. So pretty easy to make a mistake and almost blow it there. So here's the blending tri-blend. And I may have let that sit for a little bit too long to have it blend. I think it dried too much. So I'm going to go back to using the light and just add a little bit to it. So there's a lot of people that can color better than I can. If you can color better, you know, then that's cool. So you can tell that there's a little bit of shadowing around the outside edge. Of course, got to do the tail. But there's a little bit of definition, and the shadowing adds some dimension to what you're doing. So rather than it just being flat, a little dark around the edges and on the legs and stuff just adds, the little shadowing adds like dimension. Like you can tell that the back of the pig is further away than the front of the pig. And so I added my little sentiment. It says, "I miss you, pig time." And there's some little hearts. And so I'm just going to make some little hearts, some little pink hearts here and there. Ta-da! And then I decide to add some more pink hearts to the pink side. Don't have to add too many. But it just adds a little something extra to it. Now you could put those hearts down there by the sentiment to make the sentiment stand out, and that would be a real good idea, actually. So, but whatever, you know, whatever works for you. So now we're going to go on to the cow. And the cow's little phrase is, "What's moo?" So, I mean, you have to love that. Clean her off. Put her back. Especially when you have so many little tiny pieces on your stamp set, you want to put them back because they can get lost. They can fall off your table, and good luck finding them. You've got to go around feeling for it because they're clear and it's hard to see. So I would suggest putting your stamps back as you use them, especially when they're tiny like that. So I kind of have a style going here with some might call it a rut. So I'm kind of putting the sentiment down in the little corner there, just because that's how I wanted to do it. And you can do it. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it whatever way. Now this, I was kind of wondering what this is. Was thinking it kind of looks like grass. Maybe that's been chewed. I don't know. Kind of looks like an EKG to me. But I think it's supposed to be grass. And maybe she's been chewing on it, so some tufts are standing up and some are flat. Who knows? I decided to add some taller tufts of grass to it. I do like those little tufts of grass, I have to tell you. So then it's like, okay, what do I want to do? What color do I want to make her? So I'm going to put a little pink in the ears. And could have made the whole muzzle pink, but I'm just giving her some little pink cheeks. So I'm making her horns gray, and I'm just going to add a touch of gray to her. She could stay like that and be whatever kind of cow that is that's white with black spots. I don't know if that's a Holstein, or it's probably not. I don't know anything about cows. So, but I'm going to give her a pretty little bell, make the bell pink. And there's a little strap going around her neck to hold the bell, and that's going to be kind of, I was thinking it was red. It's either a red or a hot pink. And then I blend it. So these pencils, you can, if you press real hard, you're going to get a lot of color. I am hardly pressing at all so that it's very light, because I don't want a whole lot of color. I just want just enough to stand out from the white background. But once again, that's my preference, and you do what you want to do with it. So I never cease to be amazed at, when you add the blending tool, how smooth the pencil strokes get. They just go away. It's just really cool. So it's real fun to watch, because you're kind of watercoloring without the complexity of watercolor. It just makes it so easy to just use the colored pencils. So it says, from my barn to yours, what's moo? So next is going to be the horse. Maybe I'm trying to figure out what to do. Am I going to use a little leaf? Or is that a flower? It's a little bitty leaf. So I kind of like the way the putting the tone on tone to the cardstock. You could even use an embossing folder if you have that kind of thing, to add some interest to the card. So I think that anybody who gets a little card like this is just going to be really happy with it, because, there's nothing like having something handmade, and it just makes it more personal. And boy, this is a time where it's tough on everybody. People are just missing each other, and, you can't see people. It's just tough times. And so something like this, if you have somebody who, is in an assisted living or lives far away from you, but especially in the assisted livings or the nursing homes, oh my goodness, that those people are so lonely. And it's really not good for their brains to go through that. And so getting something like this from the family is just really going to add a lot of cheerfulness in someone's life. So I'm coloring my horse. He's going to have a light mane and tail, and then his body and his legs are going to be darker brown. I was thinking, well, you could make a palomino, you could, there's so many beautiful colors of horses. But I just went for the brown horse. So I'm going to use that black marker to color the hooves, to add some definition to the hooves. And also for that blanket or salad, listen to me, saddle. Oi, I must be hungry. I'm adding a black trim, and the stirrup is going to be in black. And then I'll color it later when I figure out what color to make. But the rest of the horse is going to get penciled in brown. And see, you don't even have to be terrifically neat when you're doing these pencils, because once you put the blender tool to it, it's like poof. I'm like, I don't know what to put. What should I put? Where? As I make up my mind, I don't know. I disappeared. I don't know where I went. Okay, here I am with the putting the green on the bottom, because I'm always thinking in terms of reality with the grass on the bottom and the sky above, which I really would do better stepping out of reality. So that is, I'm going to get a scrap, a 1/4 inch scrap over here, and just add a little pink, because there's just a little bit too much space down there for me. So I'm just adding a little 1/4 inch strip and then cutting it off. Now I'm going to color his mane and forelock and tail. And see, when you add the blending pen to it, it adds color. I mean, it does. You're not adding color. It's just that the color seems to get darker when it gets blended like that. Cool, right? I love that. And it really showed up on the brown. So I'm going to add a little pink to the inside of the ear. And I'm also going to give the blanket or saddle, it's going to be a pink one, because that's what my horse would have, is a pink blanket. And the horse is, let me see, what does the horse say? It says, hey there. That's what its little phrase is. Of course, right? And one of the little stamps with the, on the sheet there is a little apple. And I was kind of thinking, well, what do they have an apple for? Well, of course, horses love apples. Give me a break. So I'm going to make a couple of apples there, because those apples are really cute. And I'm going to use 2 pencils. I'm going to make a red apple. And then, you never get a fully red apple. This one's going to be fully red, but the other one is going to have some green on it. And so that looks actually a little bit more interesting. So I colored a portion and just left that little corner green. Okay, and so here comes my blending pen. This is like my favorite tool. I mean, really, it's like my favorite tool. because it makes magic happen. I'm going to get rid of the red on the tip and color the green. So, there we go. I like it. I love that little apple. That's really adorable. Dogs just came in to say hello to me. It's time for them to get fed, so they have to give me a reminder. Like, you know what? Don't forget me, I'm here. And so this is a little branch with little leaves and some little, looks like berries or something on top. And so I decided to kind of make little clusters of them, like they were, I don't know, a weed or a plant or whatever. So I just decided to put them together instead of making little individual branches. And there we go. And so see, these cards go pretty quickly. I think one of my cards may not show up. I think somebody forgot to hit the record button. Can you imagine? But you'll see all the cards at the end. So this is like a little chicken. And the phrase that goes with the chicken is just chicken you out. And it has a cute little, I don't know, bough of branches here. And I'm not going to do it in black. I'm just going to do it in green. But if I did it in black, I could have colored all those little things in, and that would have been cute. And I'm going to color the chicken yellow. And use the light side of the green. So let's see. I want a kind of a bright yellow. Like a little chick. See, it's a cute little chick, right? Here we go. Here comes the blending tool. See, you can, even though it's not close up, you can tell that it gets a little bit darker when it gets blended, and don't ask me why, but I like it. Well, missed the last one. So here are the cards, and there's the one that you missed. That's something to crow about. And there's little chicken. I added some little tone-on-tone stamping to it, and the little lamb and the cow and the pig, missing you pig time, and the little horse. And so these are very cute. Thanks for watching. Bye now.